the Midtown studios of Bloomberg Television in New York City, this is Charlie Rose.
George C. Wolfe and Savion Glover are at it again, combining hip-hop with tap, bringing the noise, bringing the funk. Here's a hybrid of documentary, linear narrative, and song and dance. George Costello Wolfe is the producer of the Joseph Papp Public Theater New York Shakespeare Festival and the director of Bringing the Noise. Savion Glover is both choreographer and dancer. Together, they have created living history of an original African-American art form, and they may do it again here on our stage this evening. I'm pleased to have both of them, having been to the Public Theater. George, welcome. Savion, good to have you here.
Good to be here.
This is an extraordinary performance. You're now in previews on Broadway, and you open on the 25th of April. You two go back a while, right?
Yeah.
When did you first meet?
Where did we first meet? I guess in connection with Jelly's Last Jam. I think it was the first place.
Yeah. And he was already a legend when you met him.
He was already a star. I said, oh, please, Mr. Glover, I would love for you to come work with me. He said, I don't have time. I don't have time.
You have been a star for a while. I mean, since you were 12, right? You did tap when you were 12? Yeah.
Yeah. But
what? We were doing middle names here. George is Costello from Frankfurt. Tell me again what your middle name was.
Kamar Bey.
Kamar Bey.
Kamar Bey.
I didn't know that.
I didn't
know
either.
that.
Only his mother knows.
Yes.
And his other knows why, too.
Dig it.
Tell me, Savion, about your introduction to tap and how it sort of, for you, became an expression of yourself.
All right, well, I started dancing when I was 7. I started off as a drummer. I was in a band called 3 Plus, and we were playing at a recital at the Broadway Dance Center. And I saw 2 dancers there, Lon Chaney and Chuck Green, and they weren't doing, you know, the traditional, you know, flat ball change, flat ball change. They were like, you know, hitting, like really doing like rhythms or whatever. That night, my mom signed me up, you know, and I just was going to dance class for like, you know, a year, 2 years. I got my first audition, which was for Tap Dance Kid. I didn't really get my dance education until I went to Paris and started like hanging out with like Jimmy Slide, Buster Brown, Lon Chaney.
And why did you go to Paris?
I was over there doing Black and Blue.
Oh, Black and Blue, that's right.
Yeah, I did Black and Blue over there for about 6 months.
And how old were you then?
I was 13.
13.
I was 13.
An old man by then, yeah.
And how old were you when you met George to do Jelly Roll?
I was
14.
I was 15.
15?
Yeah.
15.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, around that time.
What did you see in him? I mean, this art form, this expression through the feet.
Well, I mean, the thing which I thought was incredibly very fascinating is that as working with Gregory and then Savion directly, is that up to that point, tap dancing to me had always been sort of like this exuberant, sort of wonderfully mindless art form that was very difficult to do, but it didn't seem that it was ever used to convey emotion. Or really idea. It was
tell a story.
Or tell a story. It was energy dance. So the thing which I thought was remarkable about working with Savion is, and which I was fascinated to exploring, is seeing how tap dancing, like ballet, like modern, like jazz, could convey emotion and complicated emotion. Not just happy exuberance, but how something can start out showing rage and complexity and then blossom into something joyful.
Now, you got that from Gregory, you got that from Savion, or where'd you get that?
Well, just working on Jelly's Last Jam, well, seeing how Gregory would transform rhythms to express himself, I found that was very, so that how the individual could find himself in tap dancing. I was sort of like, I think I was sort of being trained to think a certain way, particularly when I was working on Jelly. But then when we started, Savion and I started talking about working on a piece together, I was just very interested in seeing how much you could use rhythm to convey story, because I think there's an interesting relationship between rhythm and history, and so it would be a chance to explore all of that.
What's the collaboration? You're a choreographer, you choreograph the whole thing. You are a director of theater and other things. What's the collaboration? How does it work between the two of you? When you sit down, who does what, when, where?
Well, Like, he's the director.
He's the director.
He's, you know.
There would be certain ideas that particularly with following some historical lines, that there were certain conceptual things that we wanted to play around with. So I would talk about an idea with Savion, and I would send the dramaturgy department of working in one area, and then the music department of working in another area. Then I would talk to Savion about the idea, and then he'd immediately start doing steps, and then it would all converge together. Because the whole process of working on this show isn't like anything I've ever done before, where everything was evolving at the exact same time. So I think there's an incredible integral dynamic to the show as a result of it.
Tell us about bringing the noise, bringing the funk. What is it about it? Tell me, if someone came to you and said, as I'm doing it, I said, what is it? I mean, how do you translate tap into, what, an hour and a half?
It's hour
and 40 minutes at the theater. What's the experience like? What do you want us to walk away from this night at the theater with?
Well, definitely a lesson.
Yeah.
You got your history lesson, you got your entertainment, and you got a good show.
And you got a feeling.
Yeah.
You got all of that.
Good
You got
feeling.
history. You got a good feeling.
Yeah.
You've seen a culture. You've seen an experience.
And you've
seen history.
But you've also seen, which is
And you've been entertained in a huge way.
And you've seen brilliant artists at work. I can say that because I directed the show, but I think the cast is just, and it's starting with Savion and Ann Ducanay and Jeffrey Wright and all of the dancers. They're extraordinarily focused, disciplined, brilliant artists, and I think it's just exhilarating to be in the presence of brilliance.
Was it ever a point for you to sort of discipline yourself, in a sense, or discipline those dancers who are on the stage with you, in a sense? Were they free-form artists, and you had to bring some sense of discipline and set to them? Yeah,
as like I am. I'm a freestyle artist or whatever. I never dance with like a a partner or whatever. So this is like Sam, a learning experience for me too. As a choreographer. You know what I mean, to discipline my dancers, to now, with the help of George, make pictures with the dance, because my choreography is just right in your face. There's no, not too many like lines or pictures or whatever. But I'm learning how to create that moment.
We'll see something in just a moment. What's the biggest misconception about tap, you think?
Well, I think...
What don't we understand?
Well, personally, I don't think people understand, like, how deep it goes, how you can really express yourself, I think people think, they look at tap and they think it's just like entertainment.
Just a couple shuffling your feet.
It's like smiles and hands and just legs flying, And in all reality, it's when you're hitting, when you're doing like my style, or you're expressing yourself, you're really like educating those who are ignorant to the dance.
You're telling them about its history and its form and its athleticism and all of that. You look at this clip. This is a clip from what you will see. This was, I assume, from the public or from a preview. This is from the public on Broadway beginning April 25th in previews now. Take a look at what a wonderful evening of entertainment you'll get.
Give them clap, give them style, and a real big smile. Now that's your socks is fitting right. Be prepared to wait all night, and those pearly whites moving right. Now that's that. Haters got to look right fine. Flick your hips and breezy shine. Tell the world, I got mine. Leave it slow mo, no, ho, ho. I breathe and hope is behind.
You know, the best moment for me is when you went through the great figures and showed the different forms. Can you show us that, would you?
Sure.
So some sense of the greatness of this dance.
Okay. Oh, you take somebody like Lon Chaney.
All right.
Lon Chaney was the inventor of the pattern roll. The pattern roll is that's Chaney's.
Right.
You know Chaney, you know the pattern roll. Take somebody like Buster Brown, who's like probably the cleanest, or well, the oldest cleanest dancer, who's light when he doesn't really hit hard. He hits light. He would probably do something like. Buster's nice and pretty there. You got somebody like Chuck Green, who's like the Godfather, who's like real. He's slow, smooth, and he would probably do something like Chuck would go.
Slow and easy.
You take somebody like Slide, who's just butter.
Yeah.
And then you take me, who is just funk.
What's your favorite number in the entire?
My favorite number is the last number for the show. Hitting.
Hitting.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because it's the last number.
You're out of there. I'm gone, man.
No. My favorite, actually, I have two favorites.
Yeah. Did you know the answer to this?
No, not at all. I'm very shocked.
Stick around, George. We'll teach you something about your own direction.
My favorite one is Green Chaney Buster Slide.
Right.
And Taxi.
Yeah.
Taxi is very real, and I like Taxi.
Now, what's that? Can you show us a little bit of that?
Well, actually, no.
Not enough space?
No, Taxi is a scene that we all deal with probably every day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What do you hope to achieve with this? Not just this performance, but with TAP. Where do you want to take it? What do you want to do with it? Yeah. I
just want to, funkify.
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 Everyone, just, I want to, I just want everyone in the world really to know, how to, if they are a tap dancer, if they're not a tap dancer, just how to express themselves. Not anything you learned in class, you take what you learned in class and flip it. I want tap to be so that, when my kids come up, they're not really hip to this, like hands and smiles and all that. All they know is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.